Welcome to part 4 of the complete front-end development series, where we will be building a robust component library completely from scratch using mainly React and TypeScript, and also a few Next.js apps or a documentation website for the component library that we are building throughout this series. If you have not watched my last video, that is part 3 about setting up a development environment, you should go and watch that, because this video is going to be a follow along to that video, because there were a few concepts or a core concept that I missed in the last video that I really think that everybody should understand, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to explain the concept of NPM Link or Symlink that I forgot to explain in the last video, and also a few more details or a few more concept about Monorepo architecture that we really need to understand, because everything that you see on the screen here, this is following a Monorepo architecture, and everything that you see on the screen here, we set up everything up in the last video, and it did take us quite a while to set everything up. I think it took us about 4 hours to set everything up, and that was because if we were to set this up, I would have completed this in probably about 25-30 minutes. But then I would like to go into greater detail about every single thing that we are using, all the tools, all the technologies, all the concepts. So that's why that video was 4 hours long, but I also had a nice timestamp there, so if you wanted to skip something, you could. So let me know what you guys think about that, and then if you found any errors or bugs, because I did not see a single comment in that video complaining about people complaining about having errors or something not working. So I believe that everything worked out well for you, and I'm really glad that it did. Okay, so let's without any further delay, let's get this going here. So before talking about the Monorepo and the Symlink or the NPM Link concept, let's do a few things in here. Let's add a few things here, because in last video that was just the setting up the development environment up. In this video, we will try to optimize things a little bit so that it's easier for us in the long run. Okay, so let's come to this mod.js root folder, and let's open up package.json file, the root file. Okay, and let's scroll down a little bit. We will be writing a few scripts here, because I forgot to do this in the last video. Because if we look at each of our packages, our core package, package.json, we have this script called pre-publish script. So let's go ahead and write pre-publish script for all 4 packages from the root. Okay, and there seems to be a problem here. That is just a comma. That's okay. So let's write a pre-publish script here. Pre-publish, this will be for core. Okay, and npm run pre-publish, and this is again from the workspace. Let's copy this workspace mod.js core, put a space there, and let's write a script for all the other 3 packages. Okay, because we already have the pre-publish script in all those 3 packages. So I'm going to copy and paste that, and since there's pre-publish core, pre-publish icons, pre-publish utils, and pre-publish helpers, so these are the scripts that will be running before actually publishing the library to npm registry. But also we can run this script even when we are developing the library, because this pre-publish scripts, all it does is formats the code, lints the code, builds all the builds the package in ESM, CSS format, and also gives us the TypeScript declarations, or builds the TypeScript declarations. Okay, so let's write those pre-publish scripts. Make sure that you have the package name correct here in all 4 of this. So let's go ahead and save that. And that's all about this package.json file. Everything is looking good here. There are many other things that we will add when it's finally time to publish the library to npm registry, like description and we'll talk about semantic versioning or versions later, but for now leave it to 1.0.0. so and we will optimize the keywords. So this is all we're going to do when it's finally time to publish the library. Okay, but for now, let's everything's looking good in this package.json. Let's close that, and let's come to the packages folder. Inside packages folder, open up core folders or core packages, package.json file. Let's open this up. So there are a few things we will be doing here. Okay, so in this core package, we will because this core package, if you remember, if you had watched the part 2 of the series where I explained this diagram in really great detail about the monorepo architecture, especially, okay, so here we will, in this core package.json file, we will specify some dependencies, because if we look back at this diagram here, in Mod.js core, in this core package, in the last video, we built a simple typography component. Okay, so in this Mod.js core, we have that typography component here, but this Mod.js core will make use of helpers package. So let's say that this password field, the password field in Mod.js core will require a function from this Mod.js helpers package, okay, and this will be maybe a format password or format email function. And in Mod.js core, we will also require this icons package, because let's say that in email field will have a email icon, and this email icon will be imported from Mod.js icons, okay. And for the core package, we will also need to make use of the utils package, so that we can provide theme for the core components, okay. So let's go ahead and specify dependencies here. And about these peer dependencies, again, I explained this in greater detail in the last video. Make sure React DOM style components are peer dependencies, okay. These are peer dependencies. We want to use the React version that the end user using our component library installs, and we should not provide our own version of React, because if you have faced this error before, it will give us a warning saying that you are running multiple versions of React, and this is why that happens, okay. Because if we do not specify this as peer dependency, the component library is not going to use the end user's React or style DOM or React packages, okay. So go and watch the last video. I explained this in greater detail, but for now, come down here. So we will specify dependencies, and in these dependencies, we will specify all the dependencies that we need for the core package, okay. So this is for the core package. So we will need Mod.js helpers, right? So for email field to be formatted or validated, we will use Mod.js helpers, and let's also provide the version for that. Currently, it's 1.0.0. Okay, so let's copy and paste that. So we need Mod.js helpers. We also need Mod.js icons, because let's say email field will import email icon from Mod.js icons. Okay, and let's also specify Mod.js utils, because the email field or any component in Mod.js core will require, let's say, themes, or there is a higher order component called with layout that will write. So Mod.js core will require those functions from Mod.js utils. And let's also specify another dependency called highlight.js, and this is for the code editor that we are building, where we will be syntax highlighting for the code editor using highlight.js. But if in the future I want to implement my own syntax highlighting, but for now I really want to get into production, I really want my projects to be deployed, so that's why I am using this highlight.js package. So this is the only extra one package that we will be using. We are trying to do everything almost completely from scratch, but with syntax highlighting, it does take a little while in order to implement the syntax highlighting for React, JavaScript, TypeScript, because there's just so much more that needs to be done. So for simplicity, we will just use this package highlight.js for the code editor, okay. And let's go ahead and install this now too. So for this one, we will install version 11.9.0, okay. And I forgot a comma there. So let's specify those as dependencies. And what happens is, so this is the concept of Symlink or Symbolic Link or NPM Link. That's also called, that's the command. NPM Link is the command. And the main concept behind all this is the concept of Symlink and Symbolic Link. So let's talk about this. So what happens is, in core package.json, I have all these dependencies specified, right? So if I go to cd packages/core, and if I run npm install, let's go and do that. So when I run npm install, you see that it is not creating a node modules folder here, because what is happening is in Mod.js, in this core package, we are specifying Mod.js helpers, icons, and utils. So these are our packages, right? And this highlight.js comes from npm registry directly, because this is not our package. This is somebody else's. But these three packages, it is not in npm registry yet. These are all on our local computer. Okay, so while developing, how are we going to install? So normally what we would have to do is, if we would have to like in production, we would be installing packages such as npm install mod.js helpers, npm install mod.js icons, npm install mod.js utils. So we would use that install command, right? We would use install in order to install it from the npm registry. But in our case, all these packages are on our local computer, so there is no way we can do npm install. Let's try to do that and see what happens. Npm install. Let's try to, well, you know what, I might have this package mod.js slash, you know what, I actually already have this package. But you go ahead and run npm install and don't provide mod.js, because it is actually going to install that. I have up and running on npm. But if you install whatever your scope name is instead of mod.js, you definitely have a different name. So go ahead and run this command and see what happens. I'm sure it is not going to run, because this npm install is trying to pull the package, so mod.js core, from the npm registry that does not exist there. So okay, so this is the concept behind Symlink. So with Symlink, what we can do is, we do not need to use the npm registry that will be only used for production. We do not use npm install, because there does not exist any of these packages in npm registry. So what Symlink will do is, make sure you have this node modules folder. We ran npm install in the root folder in mod.js node modules. If you open that node modules folder, and if you come down here, you'll see that there is this package already in node modules folder. And if you click on this, okay, on the mod.js, there are 4 other packages that you see. So mod.js core, helpers, icons, and utils. Okay, and this is done automatically because we are using a monorepo architecture. Okay, and I will come to this in a little bit. But look at this inside mod.js folder, there are 4 packages, and there is this arrow that's pointing down. And if you hover over that, you will see that it says mod.js node modules mod.js core, and you see the symbolic link, the last one in the end. Same over here, symbolic link. This is not showing up, but right in core here, you'll see that there is this symbolic link. So it has already created symbolic link, okay, because we are using a monorepo architecture. So that's why when we do npm install and specify specify the workspace property in the root mod.js folder, everything is taken care of. So normally what you would have to do if you did not use a monorepo architecture is, and that means, and I explained this monorepo in greater detail in part 2, go and watch that. This is super important concept. Okay, but if we did not use a monorepo architecture, then this node modules folder would be inside all these 4 packages. Okay, so in all these 4 packages, we will need to have a package.json file and install all of this all over again. Okay, if we did not use monorepo architecture. But since we are using monorepo architecture, we are specifying all these dependencies in the root folder in mod.js, and every single packages within it can inherit it. Okay, so that is the concept behind monorepo. But if we did not use monorepo architecture, what would happen is, we would have to go to each of these packages here, so right in terminal here, and then we would have to link, not install its link. Whenever we are working locally, we would run link, okay, not install. But if we did not use monorepo architecture, we would have to run npm link, and then so // go back to wherever that React styled components and React DOM, because we have specified these as peer dependencies, we would have to link, okay, all these tools here, all these React DOM and styled components, and we would have a different app. So let's say that in docs, we have in this docs folder, which is currently empty, let's say that we have React installed in docs. So what we would do here in core package is npm link // docs /node modules underscore node modules underscore react, and we would do the same thing for React DOM and styled components. But since we are using Monorepo architecture, we do not need to run this link command at all. Okay, and after running that link, we would run npm link, and then just that would link all the 4 packages. Okay, so that is the npm link command. And I don't know if I was going too fast, but I hope you got the sense of it. Okay, but since we are using Monorepo architecture, everything is done automatically. As you can see, inside node modules folder, there's this mod.js folder which contains all 4 of our packages. Okay, so this is also another advantage of Monorepo architecture that I wanted to talk about, and also the concept behind Symlink. Okay, Symlink means we are in development, we are developing some package. Okay, and we want to develop those packages locally. So what we would do is we would create a symbolic link like it is creating over here, and we would be able to develop our packages and link those packages in our apps while in development. Okay, but using Monorepo architecture, again, we do not have to run npm link manually. And I made a video about this about a year ago where I actually used npm link in order to manually link all those 4 packages. So if you want to go and watch that video and get more detail about npm link, I will post a link to that video down in the description. I think I did that video almost over a year ago, so that something might have been updated, but the core concept is still there about npm link. Okay, because until last year, I was myself was not following a Monorepo architecture. Okay, and it was a lot of pain, but if you want to go and learn about npm link, go and watch that video that I'll post down in the description below. Okay, so that is all about Symlink or Symbolic Link or npm link, and also a few things about Monorepo architecture. If you do not understand something, let me know down in the comments below. Okay, I'll be really happy to, I'll be really glad to explain things. And the benefit is that when I'm explaining things, I am learning it myself too, so I will be really glad to do that. Okay, but let's come back to this package.json file. Okay, so now we in core package, this is the core package.json file. So in this core package.json file, we will specify all these dependencies, because these dependencies will be used by the core package. And that should be it for the core package. Let's come to help us package and see if we need to do anything here. In help us package, these are just plain TypeScript or JavaScript functions, so there is not a lot we will need to do here. Okay, and no, everything looks good here. Okay, and in all these packages.json, when it's time for deployment, we will write a new script here called a publish script, and that will automatically publish our package to npm. But then we will do that at the when we are actually there, when it's time to actually publish the package. Let's come to icons package.json. I just want to make sure that we have everything that we need here. Okay, so let's go up here. So in this package.json, in the types property, okay, I think I made an error in the last video, but this will not really give you, well, it will give you a warning, I guess, about TypeScript not finding types. But what is happening here is in icons package.json, in right over here, in this types property, we have specified that find the types from build folder. So let's go into build folder, types, let's go into types. And we have, under types, we have 2 folders. This Cypress folder, we will eventually get rid of this. We do not need this in production. But under types folder, there is src folder. Okay, so let's go ahead and correct that. Under types, there is no icons folder because we are already in the icons package. So I made a error there. So let's go ahead and remove that icon. So it'll be build types src, and inside src, we see this index.d.ts file. Okay, so this is the type definition file. So let's go ahead and save that. And again, for the icons package, just like with the core package, the peer dependencies are React, React DOM, and styled components. And also, we will specify dependencies here too. Okay, just like with the core package, we had those other three packages, right? Helpers, utils, and icons. for the core, those are the dependencies, but for the icons package, the dependencies will be mod.js helpers, okay? And this is where we will be defining themes and all that. So let's specify mod.js utils as a dependency to the core package, okay? And this, for now, this will be version 1.0.0, okay? Let's save that. And so that looks good for the icons package. Okay, let's remove this and let's come down to utils package. And for utils package, because utils package will provide themes, some like basic functionality, so we do not have any dependencies, but we do have peer dependencies. Again, make sure this is going to give you a lot of problem in the future if you do not understand this peer dependencies or how it works. Go and watch my last video, go and watch part 2 of the video. You will learn everything you need to know about peer dependencies, okay? But that looks good. There's no any dependencies here. Let's go up and then see if we have the same error about the types property here. So inside utils, sorry, on the build, go to types, go to src. There is no utils folder, okay, over here. So let's remove that utils from there, because build types src index.t.ts, utils build types src index.d.ts, okay? And then TypeScript will find the type definition with this property here, or the type definition file, okay? And same over here in export types too. So this will be build types. Let's remove that utils from there, and I believe we'll need to do this in icons too, isn't it? So let's go ahead and do this here too in the icons package. Let's do this in core too. I forgot that earlier. And there's no folder called core, there's only folder called types src index.d.ts, okay? So that's that. And for the helpers package, let's go ahead and review dependencies for helpers package. Helpers package will not contain any dependencies, and it will also not contain peer dependency, okay? Because in helpers package we will be writing plain TypeScript or JavaScript functions that is not using React, that is not using style components, that is not using anything. All the helpers package will do is, again, if you come to this architectural diagram here, the helpers package have all these functions here, all these plain functions. That is just a like utility, well, helpers function, utility function, whatever you want to call it. But since I've called this utils here, these are the utilities, and these are the helper function that we'll be writing in helpers. So helpers will not have any peer dependencies or dependencies. But people can use helpers package. They can do npm install mod.js/helpers, and they can actually import all these functions if they want to, okay? If they want to just import the functions, import the functionality, and maybe do something with it, they are free to do that, okay? But I think for now, let's go ahead and close this. And let me clean things up a little bit, because my screen is so zoomed in and the things are really getting congested here. But let's come to this package.json, see if we need to do anything. No, everything looks good for now. We have pre-published script, so the next time we run, we can either run npm run pre-published core. That is going to lint format build everything, and all the same for the other packages too. So I think that's all that I wanted to do in this video, explain that concept about symbolic link. And again, okay, because this is going to create a lot of problem if you are not linking, which if you are following this, if you are using Monorepo architecture, everything is done for you. But if you are using manually trying to link using NPM Link, you might face a lot of problem, okay? And again, I'm going to post that video I did a year ago down in the description, so that if you want to learn about NPM Link, you can do that. Okay, I think that should be it for this video. Let me close that, and in the next video we will start right from here. And I think before the last video, at the last video I stated that we will be talking about test, but in the next video let's keep that test aside for the next video. In the next video, because we will not be writing any test, we will be directly jumping into applying themes. And after that, for the theme, we will not be writing any test for now. So when it's actually time to write some test, when we write a test for this typography component on the core, I will make a separate video about testing and everything you should know about it too. Okay, so I think that should be it for now, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.